How's it going, guys? My name is Tavarish, and today I'm standing behind another car under another car cover. Now, in the last few episodes, I took apart that fake Lamborghini, and I told you that that was going to be one part of a big project, the most ambitious project I've ever had on my channel, and that project is right here. Ladies and gentlemen, I just bought a supercar with 800 horsepower that you've never heard of. So if you guys are new to my channel, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoy it, and consider subscribing if you like this sort of stuff. This is no mere rebuild project. This is the most ambitious project I've ever had on my channel, and I'm super excited and a little bit scared because this car is a complete mystery to me. I've never worked on one, and I don't even know really what it is, but I wager that you guys have seen one of these cars in one form or another, but you just didn't know it. That's because this car is a very special car called an RCR SL-C. RCR stands for Race Car Replicas, and SL-C stands for Super Light Coupe. And the Race Car Replica should give you an idea of where this thing was used, because you might have seen it in this movie. That's right, none of those cars were real. They were these. They were SL-Cs. Obviously, this is not exactly the best quality example of an RCR SL-C, but this is exactly what I wanted because I wanted to make my own version of my ultimate dream car. Now, the first step was buying this car at a salvage auction. Now, you guys might not know this, but you can't actually buy one of these at a salvage auction without a broker's license. That's why I use today's sponsor,
AutoBidmaster, also known as a site that makes browsing and buying salvage auction cars super duper easy. It's a one-stop online car auction with more than 180,000 vehicles on sale right now. They're a salvage auction broker, which means that you can buy in 50 states without limits on the types of cars you can buy in these salvage auctions. Now, you know I've used AutoBidmaster in the past, but let's just see what they have right now that might be sort of interesting. Oh boy, I should not have seen this. So this is an 08 Lamborghini Murcielago, and this is an LP640, and it has a buy it now of 75 grand, which is 5 grand less than I paid for mine, and mine is not an LP. This could be one heck of a project. Oh, dude. Oh, this is... Okay, all right, so let's put in a bid of $60,000. So what happens is the system bids up to this amount in increments. It's just gonna go up to the maximum bid, but hopefully, if you know your cars well enough, you got the winning bid. And what's even better is that AutoBidmaster partnered with EasyHaul.com, meaning that they can actually ship this car directly to your door, which is just nuts. Now, you can't just browse these cars for free, or you can do a paid subscription, which I definitely recommend, because you get a lower transaction fee, you get shipping discounts, and depending on the price of the vehicle, it can basically pay for itself. In fact, if you go to the link in my video description below, you'll get 50 bucks off a paid subscription right now. It is really, really worth it if you're looking at getting any sort of salvage cars, not just a Lamborghini. Oh my God, there's another one.
So let's begin. I wanted to go handheld because there is a lot to see on this car, and it's not just the incredible amount of damage. I think this went into a wall at a racetrack or something. Hopefully no one got hurt. I don't see any fluids inside, but let's not dwell on that. This car is awesome. It's reminiscent of the GT1 and Le Mans cars of the 80s, and I love the shape of it. I mean, just think about if this wasn't looking like a crumpled piece of paper. Back here is exactly why this car makes a lot of power and why this car is very, very unique, even in the world of SL-Cs. So this is one of the only 3-rotor SL-Cs, and this guy, well, the guy who built it, really loved rotaries. Check that out. This is a rotary, has a little rotary badge there. He was really into this rotor stuff. Rob Dahm would probably be jealous of this engine, but this is a 20B 3-rotor engine. They came in the Mazda Cosmo, Unos, something or other. I might be completely butchering that, but this is actually a very rare engine. Behind the engine is something a little more rare. Let me, it's a little... Hey, Jared. Hey. We're going to just be very careful. So behind this engine is this transmission. And you guys might not know what this is, but it is a transaxle called a Mendiola SD5. This is a transaxle for trophy trucks, and it is a sequential 5-speed. And in fact, I found a YouTube video of this car driving down the street, and it sounds insane. It also comes with a air-to-water intercooler. Here's we're not using that anymore. In addition, there's a T88 turbo that might need a little bit of refurbishment or replacement. There is a really good kink in the airline, and the frame is quite damaged. I mean, you can see that it is just cracked on multiple pieces back here. So this is thoroughly screwed. I mean, this car you wouldn't be able to drive it like this at all. But what's cool about it is that the brakes are nice and big. It actually has Grand Sport wheels from a Corvette, and it has its own suspension. We just lift that off. Yep. There we go. Okay, yeah. So this is the front of an SL-C. There's supposed to be a radiator here, but that radiator got sort of mangled in the wreck. But check this out. SL-Cs have their own suspension. They have a lot of bespoke parts. So this isn't a kit car. You can call it a component car because this all has its own components. It's not based on any other platform like that car was. That's basically just a Fiero that had its roof cut off, and then Jared definitely took its roof off. Hey! It's a boy! It's a convertible! Dude, how do you feel?
Good. Ready for a drive?
Yeah. But this is its own thing, and it was designed by a guy named Fran Hall. And he is still the guy that you talk to about getting one of these. Just take a look at this pushrod suspension. It's really cool, and it allows this car to have awesome handling at the track and also some good road handling capabilities as well. But in addition to that, one of my favorite things about this car is billionaire doors. This is awesome. Now, these doors don't stay up because there's supposed to be a little rod that sticks out from there. That wasn't there. The person that put these seats in, they were a little wider and perhaps a little shorter than I was. So we're gonna have to change those seats out, and I'm not quite sure about that color scheme. Right here is a Haltech dashboard. We have a lot of really cool race car looking switchgear, that really awesome sequential shifter, and back here, you can see a Haltech Elite standalone. You have a bunch of different CAN bus elements, and we're gonna have to figure out what all of that does. But hopefully this car can start up, maybe, sorta, kinda. What do you think?
Oh yeah, we'll make it run.
I know that these things love to be cooled properly, and there's no cooling system, so we can't run it for that long.
Not very long, just enough to fire it up, make sure it runs, maybe shift the transmission a little bit. Because the indicators aren't working, we're gonna make sure it's off the ground.
Yeah.
The last thing we want to do is fire it up.
And it just goes somewhere, yeah.
Launches into SEMA 2019.
This transmission is actually upside down. That's the only way you can get it to work, but it should handle a decent amount of power. This allegedly made 765 to the wheels, and that translates to like what, 800 something at the crank?
850 or so on the crank, so.
That's a lot of power. I mean, obviously it's a little too much power for the driver of this car.
200 foot-pounds of torque though.
Only 200 foot. It's like just a weed whacker. The reason why this car was in this condition was likely because the person that's driving it didn't have the talent that this car required. Now, this has a manual steering rack. It has manual brakes. You can actually get these with AC and front lift and all that stuff, but this was a race car for the road. Don't even have any windows here. You can install windows, but they didn't have them there. And I'm not really sure what the focus of this build was, just to make a speed machine, and I'm guessing the speed was a little too much. So this project is not only going to be rebuilding what we have back there, but we're also going to be rebuilding and modifying and adding features to what's already here. So I've actually been talking to Fran Hall, the guy who makes the SL-C possible, and he told me that he wants people to know about these cars, and I want people to know about these cars. So if you guys are interested in one of these cars, just go to his website. I will link it in the description below. And if you buy one, which I really recommend you do, just let him know that you got it from me, or I had something to do with it. I really want to get the word out there about these cars. These are as close to super and hypercars as you can get without a super hypercar budget. This is very, very affordable, and most people don't put 3 rotors in them. They usually put LS's or Ford Coyotes or something that has a little more torque and it isn't as finicky as this. So this car actually does have some aero, some diffuser stuff back here, but this is all broken. I don't think any of this is actual carbon fiber. I think it's just plastic, but man, everything got wrecked in here. You can see that this is bent. This is supposed to be one piece, and Jared just took off the one bolt holding the back end on, so we could put that to the side. So this looks pretty cool. I really like the race car look of this, and the fact that you can actually drive this down the street, well, not this one specifically, but you can drive one like this, is quite interesting.
This one had Michigan inspection stickers, so...
Actually, no, it had New Jersey inspection stickers.
That's even harder.
That is even harder.
Let's get your welder. We'll just, like, ratchet strap it back over.
Yeah,
Tack those back together.
Dude, we'll have this done in like an hour. Here's a real big issue. The wheel is cracked. Now, when I was talking to Fran Hall about this, he told me that this is designed specifically like this to buckle in case of an accident like this, because you want all the energy to be dissipated evenly. You don't want something where it's a super, super rigid structure and it transfers all that energy into the cabin. This is a semi-monocoque chassis, and there's an aluminum tub, and then there's this roll structure up here, and it goes all through the car. It's actually quite ingenious, and if you have the body off, it looks like a really cool sleddish go-kart. And right here is some really cool vents, and what I like is that you can customize all of this to suit whatever you need as far as engines and turbos. The sky's the limit, because you do have a decent amount of space here.
Probably fit a V8.
Maybe fit a V8. I mean,
not the LS variety.
I might have a V8 to put in. What Jared is doing right now is he's just taking off the intercooler, and that basically means that we're taking the turbo out of the equation. We don't need the turbo right now, and the turbo is probably toast, so we're just going to make sure the engine can rotate. We're going to take the spark plugs out, and then we're going to put a little bit of ATF in there, because the rotors, they need a little bit of lubrication and a little bit of cleaning for the apex seals and all that stuff to work. Rotors, you don't want them to sit. It's not a very good situation, because when they sit, that's when things get really dry and crusty, and then the second you start them up, it's just, you have to get a rebuild.
We're assuming the turbo's toast. It broke the large V-band that holds the compressor housing on it. It's been a while that I've seen one break that way, and because it's jammed in so hard, it's probably crushed the compressor wheel, which is the part that sucks the air in. So the other reason we're going non-turbo is if it's somehow damaged, we just don't want it trying to throw anything into the engine.
Any pieces of aluminum or whatever. Look how clean that is. That is like incredibly clean. There's no oil or anything, so we know the turbo was actually in good shape. There's nothing in this intercooler. It's bone dry. I mean, somebody spent some time on this car. Somebody spent some time and money.
I don't think clearance is normally meant to be this tight on this side.
I don't think that either. I think the engine, if you look at it, it's a little bit cocked sideways. I think it should be a little bit more centered in the engine bay.
Why does every kit car we've worked on in the past 2 days have the engine in the wrong spot?
I can tell you a few reasons why.
Alright.
Okay.
Actually,
well, I mean,
there's, oh, that's a little bad. Oh. Yeah. Come right down from the top.
Oof.
Yeah. Is that
what we'd call foreign object damage?
Well, it's technically not foreign object damage, being that it was the actual turbo housing itself that did it.
Okay, so yeah, okay, that's toast.
Yeah.
But we can probably rebuild this. It's a Greddy T88 turbo, so it's not exactly the newest thing in the world. A lot of stuff on this car is old school. I mean, you see that Aeromotive A1000 pump down there, and that's just a big honking fuel pump, but it's not actually that efficient at what it does. You have a lot better technology now.
Yeah, the new brushless stuff moves like... It's old reliable,
Yeah.
But there's new stuff that, with less power consumption, less heating of the fuel, can move so much more that it doesn't make sense to keep that.
It might not make sense to keep that engine. What do you think? Do you like the rotaries? Are you a rotary guy?
I'm not a fan of them.
Me neither, me neither. So you let me know in the comments if you want me to keep that rotary in or not, or do something else, because I'm leaning towards something else. Also, I already bought an engine. All right, so we're gonna check the spark plugs, and the plug wires just came out because they are overstretched. Actually, this might actually be a problem. Yeah, this is gonna be a problem because the engine's not far enough.
Well, yeah, the motor mount's gone, or even just the bolt, but
Yeah, I think the bolt just sheared.
that should be about here.
Is that a problem? Is that a problem generally?
For long-term running, yes.
Oh, you have to be kidding me.
What?
Oh.
It's the big hole.
Can you explain to me how to take that out? It is recessed in there. I have no idea how they put the plugs in there. How can you get those out? That makes no sense. You're supposed to use other spark plugs, the smaller ones.
The rotary plugs that I've always seen have an extra long shoulder on them.
This is really dumb.
Rob, how do you fix that?
Help! Help us, Dom! I don't know if he's gonna pick up. So whenever you need somebody, they're not there.
You should have let that number get announced.
Jared is using the Mazda approved method of removing spark plugs.
I was hoping you wouldn't film this.
Oh, did you get it out?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's not a hack method. It's OEM approved. Bam.
Hey, it actually was running fairly well too.
Yep.
Smells dry.
All right. We're just squirting a little bit of ATF into each rotor
And onto the ground.
and onto the ground. You got to make sure you do that.
Because of the accident, we can't actually get onto the crank pulley to turn it, but I'm able to put the screwdriver on the pulley bolt. So I'm gonna go through a very slow and painful process of an inch at a time, rotate this around so we can oil each chamber.
What a hero you are, Jared. What a hero. And we're certain that that's a positive.
Yeah, well, I'm not familiar with any positives that bolt directly to the chassis.
You never know. These rotaries are a little weird. Oh, I heard a click. There's lights. There's lights on the dash. Oh, things are happening. This is exciting. Okay.
Oh, there's a lot of lights on the dash.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So does the Haltech turn on? Let me get this out of here. This is a real disgusting place to be, but we're gonna try to send it and see what happens.
Okay, we have fuel pressure.
Fuel is pumping.
Yeah, and we have good pressure.
Okay, the ignition
On.
on.
Oh, look at that.
Whoa! This is awesome.
Okay, what else do we have?
Fan one, we're not gonna turn
No,
that
yeah,
on.
we're not doing those.
Intercooler pump, we're not turning that on. Ignition kill, line lock. Later. I'm just gonna kind of pop it a little bit.
No, just go for it.
Wait.
All right. Give her a little gas. We may need more juice.
I think we might need more juice. I hear like something's not happy. I think we need more juice.
Okay.
Yeah, I have 10.4 volts. Yeah, we need more juice. Are you doing sketchy things?
No, I'm just connecting the battery that has voltage.
Might not want to try this at home, kids. Ignition on. We should have 10.9 volts. So there's a voltage drop somewhere. Yeah, there's something off. Let's try it. Jesus, why would you do that?
That's fine. Go. Yeah, it's probably ripped a few grounds.
So I'm not sure what else to do. We have a brand new battery. We have 2 jump boxes on there and still not enough voltage. So there has to be a voltage drop somewhere in the system. And chasing that down is gonna be a big issue. One issue that it could be is the grounds. The ground isn't horrible. Doesn't look like it's too bad back there, but everything shifted around. So who knows what could be broken up here. I mean, it's been rained on, so there's a good chance that it's just the ground corroded somewhere. There is a ground in the back of the engine, and that actually is okay. And it looks like it is connected to the chassis, so.
Hey, Freddie.
What?
Smell my fingers.
That doesn't smell like fresh fuel. It smells like varnish.
Yeah, and when I pulled the fuel line out, it was brown.
Usually not what you want to see on an 800 horsepower car.
I kind of was like, you know what? Everything we've had has been such a weird fuel slash ignition slash everything issue. So I was like, let's double check our fuel quality, and it's not.
It's just not. The fuel quality that wasn't. So theoretically, all this needs is a battery and a fresh tank of fuel, even though I don't actually know how to. Whoa, that's a lot of.
Oh, some of that was already there. That was water that started draining as we moved the car around and got weird angles.
We should probably clean that up. Or maybe not, whatever.
We can drain the tank and get fresh gas and make rotary noises. Or we can do a couple things to help you realize your dream and end the episode there. Okay, that's what we'll be doing.
All right, so here's what I've come up with. Just got a Dash 10 with a push lock hose on a regular Dash 10 stainless steel braided hose. However, this is not what you're supposed to do. This is only temporary. This is probably gonna leak a little bit, but we just wanna make sure that it can get fuel into the engine, and we have some fresh fuel. It's actually regular, which you definitely don't wanna put through this engine if you're gonna be putting it under any sort of load. We just wanna make sure the engine runs.
Rob Dom can adopt them all.
These are pretty nice brakes.
Oh.
Professionals. A starter and then fuel.
Go ahead and run the starter for a second. Okay, fuel. And start, go.
Nah, I think we gave it the best possible shot, and
we have to redo the entire fuel system, clean it, and
who knows how much stuff is in those fuel injectors. I could probably do that a little bit later in a different episode, because this is, it's a little bit more involved. Or
we just don't use it. But the other benefit is this whole setup, that harness, we can actually just put it on the ground and start it on the ground.
Or I can just sell it. So just so you guys don't think that we're making this up, this is the color of the fuel. Yeah, that's...
we're gonna do more harm than good if we try anymore.
Right, yeah. I actually have a solution to this issue. 3 rotors aren't exactly my thing, but you know what is my thing? This. This is a 4.3 liter Ferrari V8 from a Ferrari F430.
Oh, I thought we were doing the Pulsar engine.
No, that's not what. No, that's something different.
No, that's a better idea. I have a present though.
What's your present?
This is only half of it.
Oh, are those the turbos off of my Bentley engine?
Those are the turbos off your Bentley engine.
Well, this is one of them.
And well, that's why I said this is only half of it.
That's true.
I think. What do you think?
I think that could work. So I got this engine from my friends at EAG, and you guys will know them from the 430 Scuderia manual. And they had this in their storage, and they said that this needs a little work. So in the next episode, I'm going to be taking this apart. So obviously this engine is missing a few pieces, the intake manifold, the accessories, all that stuff. But that is easy to source, and I think this is going to make that way more exotic. Now, these in their stock form run right around 500 horsepower, a little bit less, but with turbos and a built engine, the sky's the limit for this. So take a look at how small the bell housing is. It's really gonna rev quite quick because the clutch has to be very stout and it's gonna be very small. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna use that same sequential transmission. I think it would be kind of cool if we did. But in addition to all of that, we're gonna do some body mods, some heavy body mods, and we're gonna do some mechanical stuff to this engine, to the transmission, to the drivetrain, because after all, I did say this was gonna be the most ambitious project ever. And here is a very rough mock-up of the real thing. Obviously, we're gonna do a lot of body work and we're gonna make this fit so it looks OEM, but I already love the shape. This is gonna Dude, this is going to turn out to be awesome.
Oh, it's going to be amazing.
This is really cool, and we're keeping those pop-up lights. And I think we could do something else that nobody has done on YouTube. And that, you see that driver's seat right there?
Yeah.
We're going to move that to the middle.
You don't got time for passengers.
No. We can do a one-seater, middle, cheap McLaren F1, Ferrari, Lamborghini, twin turbo,
Bentley,
mishmash of parts.
GM, SL-C.
So this is going to be absolutely insane. I hope you guys can subscribe because this is going to be a more long-term project. I'm not going to have stuff on this every day, but we are going to make a lot of progress on this hopefully in the next weeks and months because this is going to take a while. I'm going to make sure to do it right. And I'm also going to be we're going to have a new slogan. Not only are we wrenching every day because, well, Jared he wrenches every day anyway, right?
Always.
But we're going to do it one better. So the slogan is build it better. And that's going to be, I think that's pretty good, right?
Absolutely. Build it better. Not just expensive, but there's lots of ways to build it better, and we're going to do it.
Yeah, and we're going to do it on a budget. We're going to do it DIY, but we're going to make sure that everything is done right. This is not going to be a hack job. And even though it definitely looks like a hack job right now.
Right now it is a hack job.
Yeah.
Not forever.
Right now it's literally a hack job. I mean, we hacked off the fenders. But this will be a running, driving car with all the creature comforts that you'd expect from a supercar, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. I'm very excited, and I hope you guys can appreciate that. I'd like to give a big thank you to our sponsor, Auto Bidmaster. That's where I got not only this car, but that that nasty Fiero, where we got this awesome front end. So go check them out in the link in the description below. I'd like to thank Fran Hall from RCR for giving me a lot of insight into these cars, and hopefully if he's on board, then we can really get this to the next level. And I'd like to thank all of you for joining me. So until next time, this is me reminding you guys that in cars like this that are going to be amazing one-off masterpieces, and thanks to Jared, by the way. Jared's MVP, as always. You guys need to wrench every day.